This conference will now be recorded.
I think, can you hear me? Nikhil,
Yes, yes, Amar. Something we can hear.
so today you may find some background noise. I'm in different location and there are a lot of kids playing next to me. So please bear with that background noise for today. Coming to today's session, we're trying to understand what is data science, what is the role of a data scientist if you're coming to the industry, what is the expectation as a data scientist, and what is the roles and responsibilities you have to perform if you are in India or in abroad. So these are two things we are going to be learned today. Once you understand the takeaways, then based on the interest, if the things are going to be similar, what is your expectation and what we are going to be covered, then you can take a decision. So when you say full stack data scientist, it just same like your full stack Java. That means we are expecting a person to work from the end to end areas. One decade before, when you call a data scientist, he was like a researcher or a statistician. When we provide some data to statistician, he used to do some experiments on that. He can do some. One second, give me a second. I got a room. So during one decade before, the statistician used to perform some kind of activities on the data, which is provided by data engineer. Then he provides some insights. But nowadays, because the data is pretty large and the companies are expecting you to work on optimization method. That means the same person has to work of that using your Python or R programming or some analysis tool. Extract the data and analyze it, then provide the visualization or a business strategy to your customers using Tableau or Power BI. So the end-to-end part we call it as a full stack data scientist. Clear? Now, if you see here, there are four different snaps which I provided to you. The first one is called a big data. Amar, generally we can maintain the data in SQL. I agree with you. We have a traditional database like SQL and Oracle and everything. But nowadays, the companies are looking at broader level. So we have to think outside of our box mind. So the data science is not only to address your business problems, also expecting to do some experiments on non-structured data. When I say non-structured data, that means the data is not providable in a table format. It is not just like a JSON files. It is way beyond that. That means Alexa, Siri, that is voice recognition and doing some action. Next, based on the camera, we need to identify whether the person is a terrorist or not. So that is not a table format. or you are getting some feedback from the customers through LinkedIn, um, or X, or some social media. So those are not in structured format. When data is not structured format, that is not possible for us to store the data in SQL or Oracle. So we have to have a different database which I can store unstructured data. For that, we are going to depend on big data. When I say big data, is just a general terminology. We have Scala. If you go deep dive into that, there are different databases we have. And as a data engineer, you have to perform some activities like ETL, extract the data, transform the data, load the data, and maintain data for analysis purpose or reporting purpose, which is on right hand side. And when you come bottom, two lines, you have a machine learning followed by deep learning. So if you are going to address some business problems like forecasting about next 6 months, how is going to be the sales, or next after 1 year, what is going to be the sales estimations, if you are in a position to do that estimation, you are taking with the help of past historical data, and you are applying some kind of statistical techniques on top of your historical data and forecasting about future. That is called a machine learning, or predicting about something based on your historical data. That is called machine learning. When you come to deep learning, it's just after your machine learning, you're going to learn deep learning. So there, you do not have any function by, you don't have a minimal manual interruption and major mission interruption, you can say. So that means capturing the cameras of pictures. And when you go to signals, nowadays there are few countries who already implemented. So when there is a government vehicles like an ambulance or uh, fire vehicles, when those vehicles are coming, automatically the signal turn from red to green. So that is nothing but the camera is trying to recognize whether it's a private vehicle or a government vehicle or an emergency vehicle, I can say. So that kind of actions you can build based on with the help of your deep learning. This too will come as a part of data scientist. Once you complete that, when your model, which is created by you with the help of your statistics and the data which is provided by data engineer, since the data is pretty large, you are taking help of your Python, R, SPSS, some tool. Once it is addressing your client requirement, then you are going to deploy that model into live environment. If you are in a position to do all these activities, we call it a full stack data scientist. Now, what kind of roles you are going to perform if you are in India means you have to perform three roles: data engineer, data scientist, data analyst. Data engineer is traditional ETL developer, I can call it as. So who is responsible to maintain the database and creating tables, removing the tables, updating the tables, transform the variables and transform the data and load the data into data warehousing. All these things is handling by data engineer. And data analyst is a person who is taking help of data engineer database, which is provided by data engineer. That person will take help of your visualization tools like Power BI, Tableau, or some other SaaS visual analytics, and they'll provide a nice visualization and tables with some insights to your client. So there is a middle layer person called data scientist, who is between data engineer and data analyst. Data scientist is going to take the same data and he will do research. He will provide some insights which others cannot see. So there are some hidden data. In the same data, data analyst is working, data engineer is working, but data scientist is a person, he call it as a middle layer person, and he can view the hidden patterns which others cannot see, like a third eye, and he will provide the insights based on the client problems. So these are three different roles you are going to play in real time. Any questions so far? Okay, looks good. So what kind of roles we are going to, what kind of live examples you can say? The company wants to know what is going to be the next year's sales. So accordingly, they can plan their raw materials. Why the sales is coming down? It's why it's declining trend. So for that, they can approach a data scientist to know the reasons. A company wants to reduce the manpower and they want to automate it. How? They will ask data scientist. The best example is companies do mass layoff every 3 years or 5 years time. Everyone's called HR only, but beside HR there is a data scientist who do research. What kind of combination of people or a pattern people we need to lay off? who is not going to be give a best benefit to the organization. So identification is handled by your data scientist. When I say data scientist, he may not be the person. It can be a tool which is already developed by data scientist. So based on the information which is provided by the tool or a data scientist, HR will do mass layoff. Hope you are clear what I'm trying to say. We generally scold HR, but beside HR there is a data scientist. Hey boss, since the AS 400's environment is not working as or it's not working for our business, there is no new clients for that, and you have already AS 400 100 resources, but we require only 50 resources. Why don't you do layoff for 50? Clear what I'm trying to say? So this kind of patterns will identify by the data scientist, by a person or a tool which is already designed by data scientist. Examples I'm telling. Now let me take an example. You are planning to sell your car. I hope everyone is aware of true value. True value. Is everyone aware of true value? What is true value?
Is it Maruti True Value thing?
Exactly. So what generally they do, the business is second purchasing the car which is already owned by you, and they will purchase it, and as a benefit you will get good value if you're going to purchase a new brand Maruti car. Correct me if I'm wrong. For that, what they do is they require a valuation person who can valuate your car. Can you imagine how many true value showrooms are available in India? Can I say approximately 500 showrooms? 500 showrooms across India. Tim, if you
Yeah,
take
maybe more than that, but yeah,
more,
it is sure.
let us take a smaller number like 500. And in each showroom, can I expect two people who can do valuation? Number of persons? Two people
Hmm.
in one showroom.
Yeah,
And each person's salary can be approximately 20,000 rupees. If you take a lower number, salary per
okay.
person, 20,000. Or you can take 10,000 also, which is not possible, but thing is, let us for a calculation purpose. Now, if you see here, 500 showrooms, in each showroom, two persons, and salary is 10,000 rupees per person. That means per month, the company has to invest this much amount only for two people. And there might be a chance the person may be a good person or a bad person, experienced or not experienced. Whatever it may be, the company has to invest this much amount whether they're getting a car or not getting a car. Are you agreeing with this? They have to pay as a salary for two employees, this much amount. So don't you think this is going to be big money for a Maruti showroom on a month on month and year on year? So this is called a problem statement. Now there is a limitation again. The company employees will say we'll work only for 9 to 6 job or 9 to 7 job. We will not work after that. So if a customer wants to know what is the approximate value for his car after 7 p.m., then he has to wait till next day. Next day is Sunday, then again he has to wait for Monday. So customer satisfaction may not be there. So if you see here, there is another example. If you go to first showroom, they may tell the car based on the car condition, they will say 3 lakhs rupees we'll give you. Again, if you go to another true value, they will say 3.5 lakh. If you go to another true value, they may say 4 lakhs. Now, whom to believe? Whether these three people are giving the right information or wrong information, we don't know. Based on their experience, based on their importance, they provided 3 lakhs, 3.5 or 4 lakhs. What if I go outside of Maruti showroom? I may get more or I may get less. So we don't have any confidence, we don't have any idea when you're approaching one showroom to other showroom. It can be true value, it can be something else. So what we do generally, we'll go to different locations. So all these are different type of problems which are identified by company. Now, Then company will approach a data scientist. Hey, data scientist, I have a couple of problems. I am investing on two people this much amount on monthly basis. Two people in the sense 1,000 people, because 500 showrooms, 500 into 2,000 people. Now, second thing is the customers are not satisfied with the quote given by a different people. For example, if the person is going to first showroom, they may getting 3 lakhs, another showroom 3.5 lakh. Which one to choose, and how the customer will get a satisfaction on us, trust on us. And after 7 p.m., if the customer wants to know the valuation, because of hurry, he wants to sell in the same day or next day. But since the true value is not available, so we are losing the customers. The, the customers are going to somewhere else, maybe Honda or something. So is there any way I can address these two problems? In the sense, data scientist first priority is on what basis this car evaluation person deciding the value. So can I say car manufacturer, whether the car which customer wants to sell, is it a Tata or a Maruti or a Honda or some XYZ? Car manufacturing is one of the important thing. Can I say like this? Year of purchase, when the car was purchased. Based on that, I can see the number of years completed. Can I say like this? Model of the car, whether it's a base variant or mid variant or high variant, and where the registrations happen. This is also very, very important. For example, if you are purchasing a car in India, generally we'll say 15 years is eligible. After that, 5 years additionally you can extend. But the same car, if you're planning to purchase in Delhi, if it's a diesel, not more than 10 years. So the valuation will change. So where the registration happen. So location, I mean to say, number of kilometers drive completed, number of owners, whether it is an accident car or accident free car. So don't you think these are the parameters on color of a car, diesel or fuel type, automatic or a manual car? So don't you think all these are different parameters which is considering by valuation person and deciding the car value? There might be more or less company to company where you're working. Team, are you getting my point? Hello.
Yes.
So there might be a plus or minus one or two variables or information which the valuation person is taking, and he's coming to the final conclusion. Okay, based on these parameters, I'm deciding. Okay, the car value will be 3 lakhs. Now that means these are the parameters which is deciding, which I'm taking as an input for my database. So if you come to Maruti Suzuki company, the database is pretty large. There is huge amount of data, but I need to select the tables uh, which is going to provide this information. Nothing else. I don't require to have a lot of data. I require the data only related to this particular data. Now, once I get this one, what I need to do? First, you have to do EDA. If you want to do EDA, assume you have to take the recent past data, because every 6 months or every 1 year, the trend is changing in every industry. It can be automobile, it can be banking, it can be retail industry, whatever you name it, anything. Every 6 months to 1 year, the trend will change and the patterns will change. So we always recommend, as a data scientist, I always recommend to take only the recent part. That means if I'm talking about 2024 year, September, I will take only the recent 6 months or recent 1 year data from, say, for example, I'm going to take the data from 2024 January till date, which is going to be 8 months data. Or 8 months data I'll go and pick up. So the 8 months data is 1 lakh transaction. Or let me take 10 lakhs transaction. 10 lakhs transaction. Do you think the 10 lakhs transaction you can handle by using an Excel or a paper and pen? I don't think so. It's possible for you to handle 10 lakhs transaction using an Excel or a paper and pen. So what we do is we are going to use a tool like Python or or SPSS, Veka. Like this, we have 100 plus tools, and daily we are getting a new tool, which is going to be perform your analysis, statistical analysis, nothing but data science. The popular tools are SAS, Python, and R. These three are very popular, and rest of the things depend on the organization. If you're coming from IBM industry, or if the client is using IBM related tools, like then you can go for IBM Watson, IBM SPSS, these tools. Generally, the universities who's doing the research, like IIT or IIMs, or some major universities, they follow SPSS. And the people who don't want to invest even single rupee, they can go for R programming, Veka, or some other tools. If you require strong securities like banking or insurance or clinical industry, they go for SAS. If you want to do research on a huge amount of data, generally the people prefer to go for Python and R. So before Python, R was there, so both are, you can say, very good. But right now the trend is Python. 5 years before, R programming was acceptable. Now it's not. So compared to R, Python is powerful now, I can say. So Python is divided into multiple areas: gaming industry, statistical industry, research industry, or whatnot. Even it can act as a Java. So most of the banking industry started adopting Python also, not only SAS. So you can adopt one tool, any tool, depending on the client location, and import this 10 lakhs transaction. So this tool which you are going to be used will import this 10 lakhs transaction and perform the activities what you want to perform using paper and pen. So if you have one data, two data, then you can do with the help of paper and pen. The same thing you are going to apply on 10x transaction using your tool. So what exactly this EDA? EDA stands for exploratory data analysis. That means you are going to check all the data is available or not, whether is there an extreme value or not, whether you have missing values or not. Uh, uh, every pre-processing steps you are going to perform as a part of EDA, and also finding the patterns. So what kind of cost you are getting 3 to 4 lakhs, what kind of cost you are giving 5 to 6 lakhs, what kind of cost you are giving 10 lakhs. So the patterns you are trying to find out. If the car is coming from Tata manufacturer, if it's an Altos and 2 years old, just pay 8 lakhs. If it's a diesel, and if it's a Tata Indigo, then sorry, Tiago, and if it's a just brand new car, 2 months old, then pay this much. So these patterns you can identify with the help of EDA. Once you identify the patterns, what you can do means you're going to build a model. I'm just explaining in high level the same exercise we are going to do approximately for 3 months time. The entire exercise what I'm explaining right now, starting from extraction till it goes to deployment, it will take approximately 3 months time for us. So model deployment means the 10 lakhs transactions, whatever we are splitting into 8 lakhs transactions and 2 lakhs transactions. These are the transactions which are nothing but inquiries, which is done in true value in the last 8 months, and the quotation is provided by the valuation person. That means all the 10 lakhs transactions, this entire information is available, which I'm marking right now with the yellow color. The entire information is available along with the quotation value. So 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs, whatever the valuation given by person, the valuation person, that information is available. So when I randomly split the data into 8 lakhs and 2 lakhs, on top of 8 lakhs, I will build a statistical model, maybe a regression. In a, the word may be new to you, but I think regression is nothing but one of the statistical calculation. So when I feed the data, system automatically give a value for that. That means y equal to f of x formula. So in the sense, when I give information like 2000 year manufacturer, some manufacturer is a Tata, and year is 2000 year, and when I give the information like a model, year of purchase, model of the car is XZ variant, and where the registrations happen means Hyderabad, the registrations happen. Number of drivers, owners is only one. Number of drive is 10,000 kilometers is drove, and number of owners is one. It's not an accident car, it's 0. And color of a car is white. Fuel type is a diesel. When I give this information to my system, and whether it's a manual or automatic, manual, system automatically calculate and give the value like this. So this function you're going to create with the help of 8 lakhs records. using statistics. Amar, are you confident on your model which is created by you? Means I don't know whether the model is working as expected or not. So what I'll do is the model, once it's created on top of 8 lakhs records, that means 2 lakhs records which are not used at all. So what I'll do is this 2 lakhs records I will pass to my model. When I pass this 2 lakhs records to my model, if my model is given the value just similar as my valuation person, that means both are same. That means my model is just a replica of my valuation person decision. Can I say like this? Team, are getting my point? So can I say my valuation, since this 2 lakhs records which is done in the past, historical data, which is the 2 lakhs records is between January to August 2024. That means the quotation is already created by valuation person. So when I pass this 2 lakhs records to my model, which I just recently created, if my model same value, just like my valuation person, can I say the model is just a replica of valuation person decision? Team, are you getting my point?
Yes, Amar.
So once you get a confident, yes, my model is working as per my expectation and giving the values just like a valuation person, then provide the information to your management. The management will validate the model and they will deploy into live environment. So these are the steps are going to be performed in your day-to-day life. Now let me, Amar, why should I believe this? Is this actually implemented? Means this is already implemented when it comes to spinning, Carvale, or Car24. And if you go to Policy Bazaar, in the Policy Bazaar one, if you around 5 years to 10 years before, they used to ask your information and they'll come back to you. They'll say that whether you're eligible or not. Nowadays, when you enter your information, the health history as well as your age and everything, the system itself is calculating the premium, and they'll say, well, based on your information which is provided, whether you are eligible for loan or not. Everything is decided by your system. So let me show you an example. So for example, I'm going to take a spinning. So now I'm going to take items like which brand of the car. So I'm taking Tata, and which location the registrations happen, RTO location. Consider question. So it's happened in Hyderabad. When this car was manufactured, so maybe 2021, and which kind of model this car. So I'm taking Altos, whether it's a CNG, diesel, or petrol. I'm selecting diesel, and which variant of the car, maybe something I selected. Number of kilometers you drove. This hurriness, even this is an emotional point. So whether you are planning to sell immediately or you're going to take some time to sell it. So if you sell it immediately, the price will change. If you say I will sell after 1 month, the price will change. Emotional intelligence. So if you say within a month, then once you provide your phone number, automatically you'll get a WhatsApp message saying that the approximate price what you are going to get is between 4 to 4.2. Some range they will provide you. That range is an acceptable range, the lower value and highest value. So based on the range, the person who's staying there, they can tell you. I don't require a valuation person there. The person who's sitting there, maybe a front office or some sales team member, they can tell you this is the maximum number I can offer you. They'll negotiate with you. So that way, what I'm doing is I'm going to reduce this two manpower per showroom. That means 1,000 people I can do layoff. This is the amount which I'm going to save. And next thing is 24/7 the environment is available, so the customer can go walk in. I mean log into this particular site, and they can validate how much, what is an approximate value they can get it if they're planning to sell in Spinning or Maruti showroom. Is it clear? Now, if you see on top of this, you can see Tata, Altos, XMZ, Hyderabad 2021. first owner and number of kilometers you drove. This is nothing but the parameters are input variables which you are passing to your model. So when I provide this information, system is giving the answer. That answer is nothing but this statistical formula, y equal to f of x. F of x is nothing but function of x. So this function of x is nothing but how you can write is x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus up to xn variables. So some operation which will perform based on the statistics on the given data that will give an outcome like your 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs some value, or it may be a range because we are not got to decide the exact number. So we'll give 3 to 3.2 or 3 to 3.5 depending on the criteria which your company accepts. Any questions here in this example? So here you can see the steps. Data scientist will convert the business problem into data science problem. So the business problem is nothing but reducing the number of manpower so that I can save some amount, or I need to give customer satisfaction. So these two are coming to you, but you are addressing that problem using your data science formulas. Understand the possible causes and current business problems. So nothing but saving the cost. Data identification and collection. So in our example, we got the data from your database, and this Amar, how can I know? I'm new to this automobile industry. Means sit with a person who is an expert. In this example, the expert is valuation person. So sit with him, understand what are the parameters he's taking for validating the value. So take the same parameters from the database and start working with that. Creating a model will not take more than 3-4 days, or even we can create in 2 hours. But identification of the data and analyzing the data, cleaning the data, all these things will take huge amount of time. Now, exploitative data analysis. Once you extract the data, the first one is you have to do pre-processing activities called nothing but cleaning the data and making sure that the data doesn't have any extreme values. So do you think that you will give for the same data card? Assume that this is nothing but one of the customer, he provided 3 lakhs. With the same data, the valuation person brother planning to sell. So he offered 5 lakhs. Is it acceptable? Or let's say for example 6 lakhs. Will company know about this? Means when you are doing manual activities, nobody knows with the same data. This is general customer. This is valuation person brother. So don't you think this is an extreme value which is offered? Not supposed to be. Team. So these things we have to identify with the help of your EDA. So that is happened by chance or by purposefully. So you have to identify the extreme values should not be a part of your model, and not expecting every to give a special price for colleagues or relatives. So you have to identify the extreme values and as a part of your EDA. Once you finalize the model, the data whatever you collected is good enough for your model, then start building a machine learning model. Once the model is working as per your expectation, then deploy the model. These are steps are supposed to perform in these 3 months. Now ETL is just a traditional ETL what you're going to learn. We are going to learn only very basics like SQL joins, how to extract the data from SQL, how to extract the data from Oracle. Some if time permits, then we'll go for Hive. Now when you come to data science, every problem may not be required to build a machine learning model or a deep learning model. Some problems may help with the help of analysis only. So you need to know how to do statistical models, how to implement machine learning models, and we'll give touch point on deep learning models. And deployment. What are the deployment tools we can use? Means there are 100 plus tools are available like Heroku, AWS, Flask, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. So there are different deployment tools are available. So depending on the client where you are working, you have to use the particular tool. And deployment tools will not take much time. We'll see one. And the best example is the stock prediction for the particular stock which you purchased. So you can go to Play Store and you can download some app. That app is second to second, it will start predicting what can be the values in the next 1 minute or next 2 minutes, what next 5 minutes or next one day. So that is predicting based on the current historical data. That is called forecasting. You're thinking about future. So for that, we can use Python, we can use some uh, application like Streamlit, so web application. So that is going to predict, once you start feeding the data, system automatically predicting about your future stock value. So if you want to become as a data scientist, there are three different skills you need to learn. The first one is IT. That means you need to learn Python end to end. Second one is statistics with mathematics. But you may know Python. You can from the Google you will get the coding programming language. But thing is, what kind of logic you have to apply using using your Python. That one you will get it with the help of statistics and mathematics. Amar, now I know my Python, I know my statistics, but what data you have to work? How you are going to be addressed? It means you need to have some business knowledge. So if you know your business knowledge, if you know your statistics and Python combination, then we call you as a data scientist. Or else we have a different terminology called machine learning, statistician, researcher. There are different names when you have two, not three areas experience. Any questions from anyone? So, how our journey will going to be start? In a sense, we'll start with the descriptive statistics, nothing but EDA, explorative data analysis. If you see with the x-axis and y-axis, on x-axis we have difficulty for data scientist, and the value for the organization on y-axis. So, by doing only experiment EDA activities, you are going to work on historical data, which is nothing but past data. The value for the organization is not going to be much. You're talking about past, which is already happened. So nothing you can do on top of that. So the difficulty is going to be very minimal because you're going to apply small statistical tools, which is not a complex. So the value for the organizations are not going to be high. Now on top of the same data, if you're applying advanced statistics, then predicting about future or forecasting about future or predicting about some value, then the complexity of the statistics you are applying very hard, and the value for the organization is going to be high. In our example, I'm going to reduce 1,000 manpower and I'm giving better customer satisfaction. On top of that, we can use prescriptive statistics. So, for example, your business is going from A to B and B to C in the path, then because of that, you're getting 70% profit. Can I make it as 80% by changing the direction from A to B to A to B to A to C directly? So, that kind of improvements you can suggest, optimization techniques. So, Amar, whatever you explained so far, why should I believe? The slide what you are seeing right now is captured from SAS Corporation, Statistical Analysis Software. That is one of the powerful tool I just mentioned. So this slide is belongs to them, not by me. So if you see here, the first one is identification or formulate a problem. That means the company will come with one problem statement, or you can proactively you can generate a problem statement and provide to them as an address. So then data preparation. According to the problem statement, you have to prepare your data exploration, nothing but EDA activity you have to do. So the actual data, whatever you have in EDA, may not help you to create a business model directly, nothing but model building. So there is an intermediate step called transformation of the data. Once you transform the data according to the client requirement, according to the model, then build a model. Once you build a model, you have to validate. In our example, 8 lakhs records we use for building a model, 2 lakhs records we use for validation of our model. Then once you feel my model is working as per our expectation, then deploy the model into library environment, then followed by monitoring the results. If results are changing, then again the cycle repeats. If you see internally, there are different colors: yellow color, blue, green, and white. We expected to work only for green and white, data miner, statistician, and analyst. Green color is the IT people, infrastructure people, and the person who's coming from business side, who is generating a problem, that person we call business manager or client. So this is the expectation from the company side. The data science point of view or SAS point of view or anywhere. But sad reality is entire cycle has to work from data scientist. You have to identify the problems. After you have proactively have to approach the managers and ask what is their current business process, and understand the gaps and start formulating these things and do this entire cycle. And finally, the infrastructure people will help you, or manager will say, yes, this is good for me, I can adopt it. So the people come like that. So instead of reactive, it will be proactive. Any so what kind of skills are required means basically you need to have soft skills and hard skills. Hard skills are nothing but learning statistics, learning Python, learning some business knowledge, and adapting the business knowledge where you are working currently. I generally suggest the wherever you're working currently. For example, if you're working in IT industry as a manager, so you might have come across a couple of cases, so problem cases. So how to address those things using a data science. If you're coming from sales background, so go for sales related projects, which you already know the terminology and the processes. So I generally suggest adopt the data science using statistics and Python on the area where you're working right now. So that will be easy for you when you're explaining to someone. The flow will not disturb. So once you start learning your Python with the statistics and some assignments which are going to discuss, the soft skills will be improved. The soft skills are nothing but your creativity, analytic thinking, problem solving, thinking, everything will come. Any questions so far, team? Any questions?
Hey, hi, Amar. This is Srini here.
Hi, Srini. Tell
So,
me.
yeah, will we be doing any end-to-end project in this course? Like, is there something
So
which
generally,
is
what I
there?
do is, what yes, I'm
Mm-hmm.
coming to, I'm addressing your problem question. So generally, what I suggest is, during the journey, training journey, I'll provide some assignments. End of the journey, we'll take one or two case studies which I worked in my past. That means the case
Okay.
studies will not available in your Google because those are real time which I worked in my past.
Yeah.
So those can, so based on the, I mean, I worked for four industries: logistics industry, retail industry, and even for product industry like SAP. So Microsoft also. Microsoft, I mean, I'm not an employee of Microsoft. I work through another company. So
Okay.
those projects I can share you. Depend on the interest, you can decide which one you want to work.
Okay.
So when you say project, generally the project will take 1 to 2 months of time. I'll provide the project in middle. Maybe once I start working on machine learning models, machine learning models will take approximately 1 to 1.5 month time for us to complete. So when I explain the
Okay.
project, you will have 1 month time to 1.5 month time. So you can start working on that research. Whenever you have a problem, you can ask me, or after the training also, you can connect with me.
Okay. And approximately how much duration do you think this entire data
So
science
generally,
course would
generally I
take?
suggest, see, generally I suggest 3 to 3.5 month
Okay.
approximately. So it plus or minus 15 days. May go for 4 months, depend on the people interest. So the
Okay.
same training I completed in 2 years. So I just removed a couple of concepts which is not required to start your journey. To start your journey.
Okay. Why I'm asking is like I currently work as a senior data engineer
Mhm.
and I want to transition my career to data science.
Yes, you can. But thing is, you need to dedicate yourself for 3 to 4 months of time. You have to think like that.
Hmm.
So since you are also employee in organization, you come to know one of the other day, once in a week or once in 15 days, there might be a chance we will take half. So that half will come off on a weekend. That way we
Oh,
don't want to extend the timings.
okay. Okay. And the other thing, Amar, I think you mentioned like what how the career for a data scientist looks in India. Like I think you showed a slide saying like data engineering, data analyst, data science, right? So
Correct.
will there be any difference uh, working as a data scientist in India compared to abroad? Like,
So I did not find the difference in, when it comes to India and abroad. The
hmm.
technology and the salary will be the same as expected. But thing is, the Indian people are getting more work towards data engineer and data analyst also. But when I come into
Okay.
abroad, the person who's working abroad, The persons
Mm-hmm.
are restricted themselves to data scientists. That means if they provide some problem, okay, we'll take the data and we'll give the solution. They will never
Okay.
bother whether the infrastructure is going to deploy or not.
Okay. Okay.
You got the difference, right? But we are not like the mentality in India, including I'm also Indian. I'm from Hyderabad, so the mentality is okay. The work is coming, so let me deploy it if possible, if the permissions are there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how usually we do work in India, and that's basically an Indian mentality mindset.
And the expectation from the organization also is going like that only, the direction.
No. Okay. Okay.
So, for example, since you are a senior data engineer, you can limit yourself to ETL activities, but the companies are expecting you to upskill yourself towards some visualization tool or expecting you to work on some new technologies
Yeah.
and
Sure. Yeah.
expecting you to work on the existing area as well as plus new technologies. So, the senior data
Yeah.
engineer role you have to play as well as the new technology like Python or Tableau or Power BI, whatever it may be. They're
Yeah.
extending your work.
Yeah. That's there. That's there. That's true.
So that is the expectation if you are from India. So I'm also expecting the if I'm taking interview in my organization, I expect the same thing. The person has
Okay.
to work in all the areas.
Got it.
Any other question from anyone? Silence, can I take it as a no questions? Okay. Thank you all.